we are considering that quality management, consistency and stability in our IVF lab, that it will help us in effective process, and it will also help us to manage our documentation, and it will help us to improve and self-assessment and improve our uh, success rate. So that is what our aim to organize this webinar, and to give this the detail on this topic, quality management. We have expert from ICMED, Dr. Vincenzo. He is very known expert person in this quality management program. He is doing this kind of services for Arabian country, South African country, even in Europe, uh, with governments also. So I think I will not take too much time, and let's start with main program. Dr. Vincenzo, please go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you very much for the introduction. Before starting, I will inform you that first, this training course will be recorded, and I will insert in our website, and we will publish on the LinkedIn and your specific space in our website. So it's important that today we will have the training course, and within Monday I will upload on your personal area in our website the questionnaire in order to get the certification. Okay, so it's important this, and then we can start. Okay, as Ved, thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Vincenzo Iacognani. I'm coming from Italy. I'm working from 20 years in the market of tissue and fertility centers. I'm working in several countries around the world, so I have a huge experience, not only for the fertility center, but for in the organization of quality in the several countries and with the several culture. So for me, I'm very, very happy to organize, to manage this aspect. My company, I am the CEO of ICMED company and HQM Research Center, and we have established a joint with the foundation, Indian foundation that the founder is Dr. Ved Prakash. And my company, we have 3 business units. The first is the consulting. So we supported the centers to implement quality system, organizational system specific for the fertility center and for the tissue establishment. The second is the training. For this reason, we have organized this training. And the last is the information technology on specific asset in the fertility. So our mission is to promote public health throughout the sharing of the experience, continuous training, and scientific innovation. My idea is that the quality is simplicity. The quality is not complex, but for this reason, it's important to implement an organization system that helps center to maintain the quality, because the quality is very important for all tissue establishment, for all center around the world. So what is the menu? You know that I'm Italian, so for this reason, I like the food. So the menu of these days is to understand the importance of quality in a fertility center, but after we will ask what we will identify what is quality. We try to understand what means quality. What is the difference between certification and accreditation? Because today we speak about certification, accreditation by the Minister of Health, so it's necessary to understand. Then I illustrate the foundations of quality system. This is my experience, my personal experience, because now I have a huge experience in the world of, so I try to transfer, sorry, my knowledge. Then we speak about the process map. Then the role of the quality manager, because the quality manager is very, very important of all transplant, of fertility center and tissue establishment. Then I would like to illustrate the International Register of Quality Manager and a proposal of international standard for quality. So this is our menu, and I hope that we can that this meeting will be useful for your experience. So the importance of a quality in a fertility center. Why is important? Because the quality is an instrument, is a tool in order to guarantee the patient safety, ensures correct protocol, reducing risk. Second, better outcomes. If you implement a quality system, you can improve your outcome, your clinical outcome. Then is an instrument in order to be compliant with the regulatory compliance. But when I speak about regulatory compliance, what I mean, I don't mean only the national regulation, because now we are very international, the first very international webinar on the quality in the fertility center, and we have 250 people. But that are coming from different countries, 25 countries. So when we speak about regulatory compliance, we speak about not only the compliance for the local country, but because when you collect the product, no? Because it's a fertility, according to international law, is like a transplant. A fertility center is like a tissue establishment, because you collect the samples, you manipulate the sample, and you transplant the samples. So for this reason, it's important to guarantee not only the national regulation, but to guarantee the traceability in all the phase of the process. And for the fertility center, for the tissue establishment, it's very, very important. The quality is important in order to guarantee, to build patient and community trust, because usually my opinion is the fertility center is a very complicated organization, complex organization, because there is the clinical unit, the physician, the andrologist, the gynecologist. There is, so you have to manage the patients, you have to manage the donor, but you have to manage the product. So it's very complicated, the process. And why the quality is important? Because the quality is an instrument to demonstrate to the patient the quality of the center. Okay, so it's very interesting for me, this the quality in this kind of services. Then, in the quality, you define your rules, your approach. So there are ethics and professionalist aspect. And the quality is important in order to guarantee the continuous improvement, ongoing evaluation and process improvement, but the quality is important for the staff training, because we are working around the world. We know that what is the difference between a center from one center to another? The staff, because you know that in your field, you can have an incredible organization. You can have the very new facility, equipment, but if your people are not training, if you are not training, you cannot guarantee the quality. For this reason, the quality system is important in order to help, to improve, and to increase the training. And then the last is the patient satisfaction. Higher satisfaction with quality service, because if you implement a quality system, it means that you are working well. It means that the employer are happy, and it means that the results are good. So for this reason, it's important, the quality system. So this is the foundations of the reason why it's important to establish a quality system in the healthcare service, but in the fertility center is important because it's not only important to guarantee the quality of the service, but you have to guarantee the product in the several steps of the process, from the collection, for the preservation, in the towing, in the infusion, in every step of the process, you have to guarantee the control. For this reason, it's important, the quality system. Now, but when we speak about quality, the question is, what is quality? You know, if I ask now, we have now 120 people, and we will increasing 200. And the question is, what is quality, and what is quality in the fertility centers? What is the general opinion of quality? You know, this is an international comics. They say the quality is only paper. We write paper, we put together in a dark in a book, and it's only paper quality. No, it's not the right concept. The quality is not paper. It's paper, but is important but is the base. The quality is improvement, prevention, and tracking. In the quality means, as I told you, improvement. You make error. When we speak the health activities, the activities of a biologist, of physician, of nurse, are human activities. So what means human activities? That the error is always present. Always. It's not possible to eliminate the error. It's not possible to have zero risk, okay? The error is present. So the quality system help to identify the error, to reduce the gravity of the error, and to increase. So they improve to prevent and to track. What I mean track? I mean that I have to guarantee the several steps of the process, not only from the clinical steps, but the processing the product steps. So this is quality. This is quality in the healthcare system, particularly in the fertility center, particularly in the tissue establishment. Quality, for me, you know that in some countries, they say that the quality is the time that the patients wait in order to get the treatment. It's important, but it's not so important. The quality in the fertility center is how do you guarantee the result? How do you guarantee the process? How do you guarantee the safety of the patients, but the safety of the employer? Because, for example, you are working with a nitrogen product that you store. So it's not important the quality is not only the safety of the patient. It's not only important the safety of the product, but it's important the safety and security of the employer. So you understand that it's very complicated, it's very complex. Then we can say that quality is what does what. In every moment, I can identify the situation, and they can enter immediately in order to correct, to identify what is doing. So this is quality, the traceability. But quality, what means in a fertility center, but not only, reliability. Why? Because you have to demonstrate that you are able not only to be the best in this moment, but you have to do the best in every steps. You know, I am Italian, so I like football, okay? I can be Maradona, remember Maradona, important football player. Okay, I can be a genius, but I cannot be a genius only one day. I I must be able to work in every days. In every days I have to play very well my football game. It's the same with the quality. The quality means maintain some characteristic during the time. For this reason, it's important to develop the procedure, to maintain the treatment, the training, and to guarantee the maintenance. So we can say that the quality is we can divide it in three phases. First, continuous improvement. So quality means to prevent errors during the normal course of activities. So you have implement a document system. Why? Because you have, for example, in the fertility center, you know that it's very important to guarantee the labeling. Why the labeling of the sample is important? Because you guarantee the traceability of the activity. And in order to get, if you have a document, you have a clinical protocol, is useful in order to prevent the error, because the people know how to manage a specific activity. So it's a continuous improvement basis. The other is, okay, continuous improvement through a collaboration of the different subjects. Why the quality is important of a fertility center? Because we have a lot of people with a different culture that are working together. We are physicians, we have technicians, we have biologists, we are nurses. They are working several units of the fertility center. They are working in the ward, they are working in the laboratory, they are working in the cryopreservation. So what they do, what is important that they work together in order to collaborate. And in order to share the knowledge and share the error in order to understand how to improve. As you know, in all sectors, usually the error is the people see the error like enemy. As I told you, the error is an instrument for learning, because the healthcare is a human activity. So the error is always present. According to the science of error management, it's possible to distinguish the latent error and active error. The active error is when the person involved make an error, the mistake. But the question is, why Vincenzo did this error? Because Vincenzo is a bad person, or because there is a system that cannot help Vincenzo to work better? I give an example. I started to work in this sector in the 2000, and now I am older, so in the 2000. And because in Switzerland, there was a huge problem with an hospital that during in the operating room, they cut the wrong leg. So they cut the left leg inside of the right leg. So the people went against the physician, because they told, the physician cut the wrong leg. Why did this mistake? So this is the active error. The people did the mistake, the person. But the question is why this person did this mistake. So we analyzed the process, and we understood that first, the physician was working from 20 hours. There was no system to guarantee the traceability of the arm, of the leg. The physician was not present during the beginning of the operation, and he didn't see the patients. So you understand, I don't have to explain myself, but the point is, okay, the physician did the error, but there was a lot of situation in the organization. So the problem was not, the problem was the organization that they had bad rules. So for this reason, the quality is very, very important. The quality is the instrument in order to implement a system for prevent and define the rules and create a collaboration. Then, because we are speaking about a fertility center, we know that the problem is the traceability. So every activity performed in the clinical unit, in the processing, in the fertility laboratory, in the storage area must be traced. So there must be the people, is necessary to implement a system in order to guarantee the traceability of each step. Now, if you, we can speak not only for the labeling, but we can extend for the traceability, the activity performed in the, sorry, not only for the labeling, but the traceability for the activity performed in processing laboratory. So the traceability is another important concept. So what we have seen that the quality is to know what we are doing, and the quality is continuous improvement, prevention, and traceability. But now we go ahead. Usually my approach is very simple approach. I start from the general aspect and I can to enter in detail in the singular aspect. So the other point is, okay, and in the fertility center, but in fertility center, we speak not only in the fertility center, but during the quality, we speak, a lot of people speak about certification and accreditation. And they say about certification and accreditation, the same, I am certificated ISO 9001, and it means that I'm working well. You know that ISO 9001 is the international standard with the aim to guarantee the quality of an organization. But this standard guarantee the quality of the organization, guarantee the quality of the product. This is the question. So, as I told you, because we can say that to certify means to adopt within an organization a standard, for example, ISO 9001, in order to demonstrate to a third party, that is the certification body, that the hospital complies with this standard of an organization network. So what it means that in the ISO 9001 certification, the system does not guarantee the quality of the product or the service provided. You know that this is very important. In the certification of ISO 9001, nobody guarantees the quality of your fertility center. You have to define what are your requirements. You have to define what are your rules. There are a general standard, and the aim of the certification body is to understand if your rules are implemented well or not. But the certification body doesn't guarantee that you're working well. I don't know if I explained myself, but it's important. So usually I remember that at the beginning of my history, of my huge experience, I have seen a company that has written in the marketing advisor. They say, because we are ISO 9001 certificated, it means that our product are good and we are and our service are good. No, it's not right. Because it means that you are working according to your rules and that you are following the rules that you have identified. So this is the certification concept. But there is another concept that is more important, the accreditation. The accreditation is the official is released by an institutional body that can be a scientific body or ministerial body that healthcare entities meet quality and good clinical practice or good laboratory practice requirements. At all stage of its process. So what means that the accreditation guarantees the quality of the product or service provided. You understand that it's a very, very important difference between the concept of certification and accreditation. In the certification, they don't guarantee the quality of the product. In the accreditation, there are someone that according his experience, according his knowledge, according his scientific power, say, okay, if you follow these rules, it means that you are working well. This concept is very, very important. And remember, at the beginning of my presentation, I told you why is important the quality in the fertility center. Because the fertility center is a very complicated organization, a very complex organization, because there are several processes that are together, that are working together. There are several people. There are a lot of subjects. So for the patients, it's very complicated to know if you are working well or not. But and for this reason, it's not simple for the patient to know, yes, but this center is working well. What is the criteria that I can say that is working well? It's the same, the problem of the healthcare system. So for this reason, because the situation is very complicated, is very complex, it's necessary to have an instrument in order to guarantee, okay, if the center follows these rules, it means that it is working well. This is the accreditation. For this reason, in several countries, there are the Minister of Health, no, the local, the regional, the national Minister of Health accredited, allow the center in order to say, okay, you are working well because you follow these requirements. They usually are procedure requirements, training requirements, and so on. So this is the accreditation. Because I'm coming from Italy, as I told you, and I like, the pizza. I think the pizza is the famous food around the world, okay? We can say that the certification is like the base of the pizza. But the accreditation, when I go in the restaurant, I want to eat a pizza, I cannot ask the base of the pizza. But what I ask the margherita pizza. For this reason, and this is the accreditation. Because in the accreditation, you say, these are the elements of the food. This is the requirements. So what it means, it's like a joke, but it's not a joke. Why? Because the base of the quality system are the same around the world. Then we will enter in details. But what is the difference between the requirements of a fertility center to a transplant center to operating room? What are the difference? The difference are the element of the pizza. Okay, so this is the huge difference between the certification and the accreditation. Now we go ahead in our pathway, in our route. Okay, we have seen what is quality. We have seen the difference between certification and accreditation. But now the question is, but what are the this is an example. For example, this is the several norms around the world. about the certification. The ISO 9001 is a certification. The international standard for IVF center, I will illustrate you, that is a certificate that we have developed in Italy with some physician, and now we wanted to export. The CESI accreditation is the accreditation of transplant center, because I don't know in several countries, but in Europe, as you know, I'm working in Europe, I work in South Africa, I work in Turkey, I'm working in Switzerland, so I have a huge. I'm working in Doha, in Qatar, so I have a huge experience down the work. And for the international regulation in Europe, for example, a fertility center is a tissue establishment. So fertility center is like a transplant center, because you could according. Now I am not a physician, I am an organizational expert. So from the organizational point of view, you collect a sample and you infuse the sample and you treat the sample. So according to the international law, the fertility center, the fertility laboratory is like a processing laboratory. So the regulation is the international regulation of tissue and establishment. Then there is the FI. FI is accreditation for HLI typing. This is the fact, is a USA accreditation for cord blood bank, and this is the accreditation for nuclear medicine, and this is the European accreditation for breast unit, breast cancer. And there is the transfusion center. So what is, if you see, there are, the ISO 9000 is the only certification. The other are accreditation service, because in the other standard, there is someone that say, okay, if you follow this regulation, it means that you're working well. Now we go ahead and we ask, what are the foundations of quality system? Because the quality system is very complicated, it's very complex, but our aim, my objective of my life, objective of my professional life is to simplify the life of the people.
Do you want to connect mute correction?
To simplify the life of the people. So what are the foundation of quality system? According to my experience, now, okay, it's an important point. Now I try to transfer to you my experience, my knowledge, because now I'm working in this field from 25 years, and I think that I have an experience that I can to share with the people. So, according to my experience, the quality is like a temple. And in the temple, there are 4 bases, 4 pillars. The first is the continuous improvement. In all quality system, you must have a continuous improvement aspect. Then we will see what are continuous improvement. So it means outcome, clinical outcome, error management, risk assessment, risk manager in order to prevent the error, management review in order to review the activity. This is the first pillar of my temple. This is my concept. The second pillar that it's very important is the document, the procedure, the SOP, the form. The people think that the quality is document. No, the documents are important in order to guarantee the quality of the activity. But in all quality system, you must have a document procedure. The third is the human resource. As I told you, that in the quality, the aim of the quality system is a machine. but the machine is a car, like a car, the quality system. If you have a car, that the car is very beautiful, okay? You have everything that is very nice, is very expensive, but you don't have the engine inside. You cannot go, you can move, you cannot move. So what is the engine of what is the engine of a healthcare system? Is the human resource. The human resource is the instrument that must be managed, evaluated, and trained. Then the last pillar of the quality temple is the technology and maintenance. In all quality system, in all organization, you must have under control your equipment, your machine, okay? So the technology and the maintenance are important. So if in your center you have implemented a quality system, or if you want you want to organize, and you can see that you can read the organization in these 4 pillars: continuous improvement, document procedure, human resource, and technology and maintenance. Now, because my approach is from the beginning, no? And then we go in details, we go ahead. Okay, we have to understand what means each pillar. Continuous improvement. I think that you know this is the PDCA, the Deming circle. You know, the Deming was a very important expert in the quality, that he went in Japan after the Second World War in order to help to rebuild the Japan. And he developed this system, this approach. Let's say every human activity can be divided into 4 steps. First, plan. You have to plan your activity. So if I have, for example, I have to organize the training course. Good. In order to organize the training course, I have to plan my training course. So I have to identify my resource. I have to identify the people to contact. I have to identify the teacher. I have to plan all steps. When I have planned, I can execute my activity. So there is the second step, is the do. Plan, do. So I organize my activity. Then, when I have implemented my activity, I have to check what I have done. And then, if everything is correct, I have to act. So, according to the Deming approach, it says all human activity can be divided into these 4 aspects: plan, do, check, act. And these are the basis of the continuous improvement. Okay, but what means this PDCA circle in the quality? Plan means plan, execute, check, and change. Plan, management review. At the beginning of the year in my fertility center, I have to evaluate if my system is working well. I have to identify my objective. I have my target. I have to evaluate if my organizational system is working well. If there are some weak point to correct, if there are some error to manage. In my manager review, I have to evaluate my outcomes. I have to evaluate the training of human resources. And in the manager review, I can say, okay, these are the objectives of my organization. Then, in the management review, at the beginning of my year, I have to say, okay, I would like to organize to perform a risk assessment. I want to identify in my processes the activities. And for each process, I want to identify the risk and the event and the error. And then I calculate the risk of on each single activity. For example, in the acceptance of the patients or in the cryopreservation activity, what is the event that can be happen? For example, there should be a problem in the environment system. Okay, after the error, this is the event. What is the gravity of this error? Because the patient can die, for example, or there should be some problem. And then I have to calculate my risk. This activity must be performed at the beginning of the year in the management review. I have defined this. Then there is the second step, is the plan. Sorry, the second plan is the do. I have to identify the business process of my activity. So what are the process of my organization? What are the process of my fertility centers? How can monitor my fertility center with the indicator, with the outcome clinic? If I have identified, for example, the pickup process in order to collect the sample, how can the ovocyte, how can monitor this activity? Do I have identified the outcome? Do I have identified the criteria? This is the key KPI, no? Key performance indicator. And it's important to identify this indicator. Then I have to organize the internal audit. Okay, during the year, I have developed my process. I have identified my KPI. Then how do I can perform the audit? How I can verify in my processing laboratory, in my tissue establishment, in the operating room, what are the activities that I have to verify? And I have to implement an audit system inside my organization. Then I have to manage the error, incident, adverse events, and biological deviation. Because a quality system is not only the document. The document is the last part. The aim of the quality system is to implement an organization in order to prevent the void error. So if, for example, I am a fertility center that I had a customer of mine that they had a very nice documentation system. It was perfect. They had everything. What are the problems? That they didn't apply. Say they didn't monitor and manage the error. So this is, you understand that is not working. Why? It's like that I have a very nice car, but I don't switch on. So it's important to implement an error and incident and adverse events. But I have to guarantee to prevent I have to implement a system in order to prevent the error. Okay? Is not only to manage the error, but to prevent. And then when there is a problem, I have to perform a root cause analysis. You know that the risk assessment is the tool implemented in order to avoid the error, the risk assessment, because the aim of the risk assessment is to understand that in the cryopreservation process and procedure, there is should be a problem. Okay, so you forecast, you prevent, try to identify the possible problem. But the huge problem, the situation is, but what do you do when the error appears? What do you do? So this is the root cause analysis. So this is the continuous improvement. So in every quality system and in fertility center quality system must be implemented this activity. So this is the first huge pillar. Then we have another pillar, documentation and procedure. So what is the difference between, what is the difference between the certification and the accreditation? In the certification, a fertility center, for example, if your fertility center wanted to get the ISO 9001, and you read the international standard, you know that the ISO 9001 is the international standard. You read the international standard. What do you see? That the standards say that each center identify his key PI. So you can say, you can decide what are your KPI. But if you analyze a regulation of, for example, in Europe or you in Italy, but if you analyze a standard in other accreditation service, is the standard that tell you what are the requirements, what are the KPI you have to monitor, what are the indicators you have to monitor. In the ISO 9001, you say, the ISO say, okay, you have to identify according to your risk, your process. But it's your choice to identify the process. In the accreditation, there is someone that they tell you, no, if you don't have a labeling process, you cannot get any approval. If you don't have a towing process, you cannot have nothing. If you don't have a labeling process, you don't have a standard a system that can be accredited. So in this case, you understand what is the difference between the certification and the accreditation. It's the same in the, for example, I have studied the India regulation, no? And I saw that in the regulation that I have seen the art, I think, they speak about the requirements of the people that must have inside a fertility centers. So, and it's important. This is the huge difference between the accreditation certification. It's the same of the procedure, the document. What are the aim of the procedure? Of the documentation, sorry, the aim of the documentation is to guarantee the traceability of activities, is to guarantee to transfer the know-how. So the document, you know, that according the good clinical practice, good manufacturing practice, the quality system must be composed by a quality manual, but there must be procedure, SOP, standard operative procedure, work instruction, and forms. This is the system that you must have, no? That you must have in the document system you must have. But this is another difference between the certification and accreditation. In the certification, you can decide to define what are your procedure. In the accreditation, you cannot have some specific accreditation. In the transplant center, there is or in the fertility center in Europe, for example, there is a list of documents. In Italy, there is a list of documents that you must have. If you don't have a procedure for accepting the patients, for informed consent, for labeling, tracking the product, from the first product, you cannot have a good system. But what are the aims of the documentation procedure? To guarantee the traceability and to guarantee the transfer the know-how. Because in some organization, when the physician left, when I had an experience with a customer of mine that is a transfusion, is a fertility center, that when they develop all documents in this processing laboratory, but when the biologist responsible left, the document disappears. Though the people didn't know what they do. They know what they do they knew what they did according to their experience. But there was no know-how because they didn't have documentations. So the document and the procedure, it's very important because if you have a document system, you can demonstrate the competence, you can guarantee the traceability. Then the human resource. As I told you, before, you cannot, the human resource is the core of the activity. Without the human resource, you cannot do nothing. And the human resource must be, the human resource must be trained at beginning. So you must have introduction SOP. They say what are the introduction of people that are working in fertility center. There is a new biologist, there is a new embryologist, there is a new physician, there is a new nurse. What are the requirements that must have in order to be to work in the center? So there must be an introduction SOP. Then there must be a training SOP, because you must guarantee that all activity is you must guarantee that the person has been trained during the year according the activity that he has to perform. And then there must be an annual evaluation. So during the year, you have to evaluate all the staff in order to guarantee if they are working well. In your field, it's important to maintain a good relationship with the patient, to be friendly, but when I'm speaking about the evaluation, I speak about the proficiency, the technical aspect, because the human resources are the basis. And this is another difference between certification and the accreditation, because in the certification, the standard asks you, if you want to implement your quality system, you have to identify what are the criteria in order to introduce your person. You have to identify what are the people that must be involved in your process. You have to identify the rules and responsibility. But when you speak about not for the certification, but the accreditation, the authorization, the Minister of Health tell you, in order to have the license, you must have, for example, medical director, you must have processing laboratory director, you must have 1, 3, 4 biologist, embryologist, nurse. And these people must be trained according to the regulation. So this is the huge difference, but the human resource is very important. So if you have a quality system, you have a lot of documents, but you are not able to demonstrate that the people are not trained, there was not introduction, and are not evaluated during the year, it means that the system is not working well. It means that the people are not trained and they don't guarantee the quality. So this is the third pillar. First, continuous improvement. The basis of quality management, we have seen. First, continuous improvement. Second, human resources. Documents and procedure. Third, human resources. And last, but not the least, is the technology and facilities. Okay, we know that the fertility, we know that the quality, the base of the quality are the people, okay? Because I can be a doctor, I can be a nurse, I can be a biologist, I can work in every situation. But if I don't have a facility, if I don't guarantee the sterility in my processing laboratory, if I don't perform the microbiological test, if I don't guarantee the maintenance, I cannot guarantee the quality of the product. So it's important to have a maintenance, calibration, validation system in order to validate in order to guarantee the calibration validation of your organization. But the maintenance and the calibration is important not only to provide the services, for example, Now I'm teaching you during this training course. For me, my technology and facility is the PC, are the Wi-Fi, the internet, the space. But if today I have a problem with the facility, okay, I'm not able to provide you my service, but I don't create health problem, no, to the medical problem to the patients or someone else. But so the maintenance, for me, the technology and facility maintenance is important, but doesn't create an issue. But in your case, if you have not a good maintenance system, a good technology, if you don't have a cryopreservation activity, if you don't monitor the system, you don't monitor the maintenance, if you have not an alarm control in your cryopreservation room, it's problem not only for your service, but should be a problem for the safety, okay, and security of the employers. So you understand that for the fertility center, for the technology, for the tissue establishment, is very, very important. This is a very important. For this reason, when we speak about fertility center, and then we speak about a tissue establishment, we say that we are under the GMP requirements because the processing laboratory, the cryopreservation is like the GMP. So you must validate your laboratory. You must calibrate your technician. You must have under control the activity. So it's very, very critical and very important. Okay, so we have seen a beginning. What is quality? What does what? We have seen that quality is continuous improvement, prevent error, and guarantee the tracing of the activity. Then we have seen the difference between certification and accreditation. We say that the certification doesn't guarantee the quality of the product, and the accreditation guarantee the quality of the product. Then I try to explain you, according to my personal vision, my personal vision based on my huge experience, that the quality system, the foundations of the quality system are four pillars. First is continuous improvement, and we have seen the key performance indicator, we have seen the management review, the objective. The second is the SOP documentation. Then we saw that the document procedure are very important for a quality system. The third is the human resource. So the people must be training. And the last is the maintenance, the technology facility. So this is the four pillar. Now we enter in details more and say, okay, but if I wanted to implement a quality system in my fertility center, what is the right approach? Because now I have seen that that the quality system is like a boundaries. No, there are several rules that I have to follow. But if I have to build a quality system, what I have to do? According to my experience, the start point for implementing a quality system is the process map. What I mean is that I have to describe and to organize my activity according a process approach. You know that we have seen that one of the bases is the document system. But how do you write a document system? You have several approaches. The first approach that, according to my experience with other center, I copy and paste the system. So I try to copy the system of another fertility center and I passed in my organization. This is, I think that you understand that is not is not the good approach in order to manage the quality system. The second is to implement a quality system according to the regulation, but is not the best solution. Why? Because if tomorrow change the regulation, it's very difficult to you have to rebuild the system. So you have to rewrite everything. The last approach, that is my personal approach, is the process approach. So what means that you have to identify in your organization, starting from the document, the activity and the process. So for example, you have to understand what are the process of my organization, what are the facilities. For example, I say the first facility is the clinical unit. So I have to identify the process for accepting the patient, for booking the meeting with the patient, accept the patient, organize the test. Then I must have, so I have to identify the process implemented in my organization. In this case, you understand that the process don't change. Your organization, you cannot change the process every month, every year. You change the process if you build a new facility, if you extend, for example, if you are a first level fertility center and you want to extend to the second and third level, you understand that you have to extend your activity. So in this case, you probably have to extend, to increase your process, your documentation. But if you implement, organize your system according to your process, probably they don't change. And this is a very interesting approach for me. Because we are speaking about organizational aspect, usually we have two. We have to consider always the positive aspect and the negative aspect. The positive aspect is that the system is adherent to the business organization and does not change according to the standard, okay? And it's very, very, very important. But what is the negative aspect? That is necessary to analyze your organization. You cannot implement this activity without a rational approach. You have to analyze your system and you identify. But this is the best solution. So the first step in order to build the documentation, okay, because without the documentation, you cannot monitor your activity, you cannot record your error, you cannot record you cannot record the training, you cannot do nothing. So the first step is to identify the process. So this is this is an example of procedure according a quality system according the process approach. In this case, what I say first, in every organization, you must have a personal management process, you have a quality manager process, and you have a support facilities in all organizations. Not only in the fertility center, but in the hospital, if I want to implement a quality system for operating room, for transplant program, for transfusion center, or other center, I have a personal manager procedure, I have a quality manager procedure, and I support the facility. So I have the training, the initial training, continuous evaluation. Then in the quality manager, I have a continuous improvement, document management, audit, KPI, corrective action, biological product deviation, validation, error, and privacy. This is the quality. Then in our organization, I have the support, as I told you, maintenance, equipment, disaster plan. For example, I don't mean, for example, you know that one of the important points is how we can guarantee the safety, the safety of my product if there is a disaster. If there is, how can do I have an agreement with another center to prevent error and to manage to prevent the disaster, to move, for example, to move the product in another place. So they have the equipment, the disaster plan, the emergency management, the cleaning and sanitation, and the disposal in all organization. In the tissue, in the fertility center, this is an example, because as I told you, it's important to identify specific profile of the center. I have the clinical procedure, patient reception, selection, donation management, informed consent, and patient management. And then I have the processing, the laboratory procedure, example, collection, pickup, labeling, manipulation, storage, and disposal. And then there is the follow-up. What is the difference between the certification and accreditation? You can see very well on this, in this slide. The training. Nobody say in the certification you have to identify the training. In the accreditation, there is someone that tell you, in order to guarantee this activity, the training must be this. The informed consent. You have to identify what are the information that you have to give to the patient in order to guarantee the patient is informed. You have to guarantee if what are the treatment. So this is the base of the quality system. So the first step that I suggest when I start a training course, because now I try to summarize my experience, when I want to tell you that when you have to build a quality system, the first step is to build the process, okay? The process map of your organization. Then, after we have identified plan, remember the plan, we have identified our boundaries, we start to say, now we develop the several SOP. So, for example, we developed a procedure of the training. We developed a procedure of evaluation. We develop a procedure of a patient reception, and so on. So the first step is to build the quality, the map of the process for organization. The second is to develop the documentation. This is the second stage of the process. The last, then when you have built the system, when you have defined the process, when you have built the quality documentation system, you start with the implementation. So, for example, the training, okay, it's necessary to define a training plan of the people. It's necessary to evaluate annually the people for the activity. It's necessary to develop the documentation. It's necessary to monitor the selection. Have you a document that record the meeting with the patient? Have identified the criteria in order to evaluate if the woman is suitable to have the treatment? You have to understand if the donor is suitable for collecting the oocyte or the sperm. You have to write a procedure in order to define the informed consent, so the information. You have to write a document and say, okay, what is the clinical protocol in order to manage the patient, to follow up the patient. You must have a procedure that define a document that say how do you collect the oocyte, how you perform the the pickup. Where do you perform? The facility is under control. There is the maintenance activity. There is a microbiological test control. How do you storage the product? You have a traceability of the product. You are able to collect the right product for the right patients. You know, this is the second. This is the second stage. Okay. Sorry, the third stage, to implement the system. Then there is the last stage, is after define the process, after I have identified the process map, after I have identified, developed the documentation, after the implementation, how do I control the system? And for this reason is important these 2 points. Audit, because the audit is a tool that I use in order to verify how I implement in my organization. The outcome is an instrument in order to, the key performance indicator is an instrument in order to monitor my activity. For example, the number or cycle, no? How many activity I perform during the year? What is the pregnancy rates? I have to identify in my organization and then the audit, the outcome, and if there are some error, I manage with the root cause analysis. And during the year, at the beginning of the year, I performed the management review. Okay, so remember, no, management review is an instrument in order to verify if I'm working well. So this is the map of the step. First, define the map of the process, then develop the documentation, third, to implement the documentation, and last, to check, verify. And if we check, we can see that is the same of a PDCA Deming process: plan, do, check, act. This is the system, the quality system. In this system, a critical rule is the quality manager. Because why I started to create education and training course on the quality manager? Because according to international rules, it's mandatory to have internal quality manager. Each center must have a quality manager. But there is a definition what the quality manager must do, what are the training that he has to follow. For this reason, we have developed together in Italy, but now we are going to extend it around the world with Dr. Brakish, is why you have to identify the role and responsibility of the quality manager in order to have a unique standard. So the quality manager in a fertility center has an important role. Why? Because it guarantees that all process and procedure are implemented and have been developed according to the highest quality standard in order to guarantee the quality outcomes and assure the patient safety. This is the role of the quality manager. So the quality manager has to develop the system, has to support the quality manager has to organize. Okay, he cannot develop, he cannot write the SOP, he cannot write the single the clinical activity or the embryologist activity, but the quality manager has to organize the activity in order to define the quality system, to implement, to guarantee the implementation, and to check it, to verify. So it's a very important rule, because if you don't have a person in charge in the quality system that have the responsibility to manage the activity. The risk that the system is not efficacious is very high, that is not working. For this reason, the quality manager is important. According my experience, it can be a job description. The quality manager has to organize and develop and implement quality policies. The quality manager develops and implements policies and procedures to ensure that the center operates in compliance with national and international regulation. The second is the quality manager has to implement the system in order to monitor and evaluate the process. Plays an active role in continuously monitor clinical and non-clinical process. The quality manager that support the physician in order to staff train, the staff training education. He has to verify if the responsible of the clinical unit of this fertility center have defined the training plan. The quality manager has to support the fertility manager in the identification of a risk associated to the single activity. So he has to develop a risk management plan. The last is management of non-conformity compliance. This is a very important also because, okay, a beginning is very complicated job for the fertility quality manager because he has to implement the system, he has to identify, he has to create a system that, because usually, according to my experience, the huge risk is that you develop the very complicated system. But remember, quality is simplicity, okay? Quality is not complexity. Otherwise, it means the quality is not working well. This is my approach. So for this reason, it's necessary, at the beginning is very important that the job that the quality manager has to do because he has to implement the system, he has to design and implement the system. But now the other activity is that the quality manager has to maintain the system. So the important activity is the management of non-conformity because he has to notify them non-conformity, he has to create a culture of the error. What means error culture? Means that you have to implement a culture that the people, they don't are afraid to notify the problem. The people must notify the problem because remember at the beginning I told you that the error is not possible to avoid in your organization. Then the collaboration with other functions, okay, because the quality manager has to write to create a framework that the people can collaborate and work together because remember that the fertility center is very complex activity. There are a lot of activity that is not only simple activity because if I perform a training course, very simple because I perform only one activity. Okay, I have to organize the training, I have to organize the facility, but it's very simple. But when you have to manage the patients, the donor, the product, the baby, you understand that it's very complicated. So the aim of the quality manager is to collaborate with other functions. Then the last is to report and communicate. You know that is important to communicate not only inside the facility. I don't know, for example, in South Africa, no, you know that there is the clinical practice. In Italy, there are no clinical practice according to the national organization. But the aim of the quality manager is to create a system in order to guarantee the communication between the facility with the other facility of the hospital, to organize to manage the communication outside the facility and with the Minister of Health if there are some deviations, some problem. So this is the job. These are the job description of quality manager. if you have to write your job description, because we are speaking, or if you have to write a job description of a quality manager, you have to follow these rules. For this reason, it's important to create the connection between quality managers. And for this reason, we have created an international register of quality manager. Why? Because now I have trained in Italy, only in Italy we have trained 150 people. Why is it important to organize an international register? Because the people must be trained. Not only because you know that in your field, the activity, the science is growing every day. There are a lot of discovery. There are no regulation. You know that usually I give this example. For example, I know that I'm working not only, as I told you, I'm working not only in the fertility centers too, but I'm working in the transplant center, stem cell transplant, cell therapy. The regulation, the cell therapy, follow science. Before there is the science, then there is the regulation that define the boundaries of the science, or the boundaries of the science. And the same of the fertility center. So it's important to create a register, to be trained, because the quality is like another job. You cannot organize an activity without training. Because if you are not training, you waste your time, because you go around the table without stopping, okay? Because you don't know, you move on things that you don't know what you have to do. For this reason, we have created an international register. Now is with ICMED, is Italian committee, Irish company, and IERA, that is a foundation in India, in order to create this international register to train the people. Okay, this is my training center. As I told you, I wanted to explain you that to have this international register is very important, because it's possible to first to perform training, professional development, and to guarantee the training. Then to promote the adoption of standardized quality management guidelines. For example, we have done the same things, not in the fertility center, but in cell therapy centers, and we have created the international register, and with this register, we have developed a new system, organizational system. Then another add value is the benchmarking and the performance evaluation, because when you are working together, when you are coming around the world, there are several people that together are working together, is important to exchange the knowledge. Not talk, because you know my idea was born because when I went in the several scientific congress, I have seen that a lot of in the scientific congress, there are a lot of meeting. They speak about some organizational aspect, but they don't understand that the quality is not only on the clinical, on the laboratory aspect. The quality is the mix between the organizational aspect, regulational aspect, and scientific aspect. If we don't understand this, we remain or at a level of scientific aspect, but we don't enter in the real problem of the center. On the opposite, we analyze the organizational aspect, but we remain at the level of the ISO 9000. So for this reason, it is important to perform implement a register. Then when you have established a register, you implement a better risk management by sharing knowledge and risk management strategies. because it's important, because how do you solve this problem? How do you manage this aspect? For example, during our meeting, I have spoken about the labeling, but why the labeling is important, how you have solved the problem. So you understand that my ambition is to extend from create a very a network, not only for scientific aspect, but for organizational aspect in this sector. And then to be an international register is recognized for the patients, because the patients, they know that in this organization there is a trained personnel involved. This is but for me it's important this aspect, the job description of the quality manager. The last point is that is the last point of our meeting. Thank you very much. The last point is that, as I told you, in my experience, we have developed in Italy, and now we wanted to extend in India, the international IVF certification standard. That is a certification standard, is accreditation standard specific for the IVF center, okay? With the aim to guarantee the quality and safety of the care, because in this case, we can guarantee the criteria of the clinical and biological aspect, define the structure of a fertility center, and then help the center to guarantee the patient trust, okay? Because the center that follow our project, no, they will implement a system able to guarantee the better care of the patients. With our organization, we can improve the activity because it's not only spot, okay, but it's guaranteed to monitor the activity periodically. And then the result is the professional recognition and market competitive. So it's an instrument in order to guarantee. So this is the last things now. So as I told you, if I try to summarize the system, this is the last step. The last step is the certification of IVF center, but the certification is only a label. Okay, it's only a simple label, but I hope that I try to explain you that first, the first step is to build the quality system according to the specific approach, that the MAP approach, to define the process, then to develop the documentation, the procedure, and then to implement according the PDCA DEME. According my experience, we have seen that all quality system will be based on 4 pillars. The first is the continuous improvement. The second is document management. The last is the human resource training. Now, this is the process, and then the focus of the quality system is the quality manager. And for us, it's very important. The quality manager must be trained in order to get the certification of the center. But for us, it's important that to create a common registration, a common register. Now in Italy, and not only in Italy, we have trained 140 people. Not only, but I think that it should be a good opportunity to extend this register. For this reason, the next step will be, if you want to join, the international training course that will organize. We have to define together with Dr. Bed, but as a training course with 3 days. Okay, in the first days, we analyze the general concept, but we analyze how to write the document system. In the second days, we will analyze how to manage the human error. And the last day, we analyze how to maintain and to guarantee the improvement of to develop a key performance indicator. Okay, I have finished. I hope that this evening, this meeting, I will, okay, every people will has access to our website, and we will include the presentation, this presentation, and the records of the meeting. And if you want to get the certification of the meeting, I will ask you to participate to the question test, evaluation test. And after this, we will give you the certification. And the next step will be, if the people want to join, we will give information by internet, by LinkedIn. That is a good instrument to join to the next we will give you the information about the training course. I don't know if Ved, you wanted to speak.
Yeah. Dr. Vincenzo, it was very excellent presentation, and I think everybody has got some viewpoints about what we are going to do and what is quality management and how to proceed for that things. And I think it is necessary nowadays because to showcase your that success rate, how to upgrade, how to improve these things with the help of that quality management system by implementing quality management system in your organization. And uh, yes, people are most of the time people thinks that it is only the documentation, nothing else. So this is the big uh, issue that everybody is thinking about that. But I think by doing documentation as well and other procedures, other things, we can improve. We can analyze our things, what we are going to do, and how to improve the our that that success rate. So one more thing which I like that you are creating that international registry. I think it will be very good, and it will benefit it to all the people who will join this international registry. They can use it for that for that to uh, show that they are accredited with that international registry.
Yeah.
And
Because we have an
yeah,
agreement with a register, international register in Irish, that the people are recognized. But I think
yeah,
that the international register is very, very important in order to create this framework, because according my experience, the people say the Minister of Health, the government, the certification, you must have a quality manager. Okay, but what he has to do? Who train him? So I think that is very, very important.
yeah. So if anybody has some questions, please you can go ahead. If we can, uh, Dr. Vincenzo, we can allow them to speak, or maybe they can
No, if the people want
send.
to speak, they can send a message.
Yeah. I can see many people from India. There is so many people are India, and I hope most of these things are clear to them. And yes, this was that the today it was just introductory kind of things, journal, but definitely when we will organize our training program for 3 days training program,
Yes.
they will be they will get better understanding about the quality management, and they can enroll themselves in our international registry also.
Yeah. Now I think that because now we have a lot of people, so my suggestion that probably we will, I will send the people the information about the international readiness, the training course. Okay, so the first step is to give this certification of our meeting, and then we propose the training course in order that the people want to join.
Yeah, sure. So they will get certification after giving the answer. There must be some questions for getting the registration that certification.
Sorry?
There must be some questions to get the certification.
Okay. You speak about the certificate. I don't understand.
Yeah. I think you are telling about that. If you want to get that certification, they have to answer some questions on your website.
Yeah. Yes. Please, if you want to have all information, you can go to the website, or you can write to us in order to have information about this.
I think Dr. Sanjay Shukla is there. He is our the IHRA co-founder.
Okay.
He is listening. Dr. Sanjay Shukla.
I don't know.
Sir, are you there, Dr. Sanjay?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Sorry, I was in the elevator, so I could not connect at that time. So, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Vincenzo, thank you very much. You were excellent in your presentation, and I'm sure everyone has gained a lot of knowledge regarding not just being the quality manager, but also how you can be a part of it and then continuously improve your organization by certification, by means of accreditation, and then and overall benchmarking the KPIs in the laboratories.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, I think that is a good opportunity this to create a network, a real network in the world of the quality manager. And I think that I believe a lot about this because can help the center to increase the quality concept. This is my approach. This is my vision in the future. And for this reason, I'm very happy to establish okay, I have a question. Could you please elaborate on how to ensure quality assurance in art lab? It's a very complicated question, but I think that when you have to elaborate this, you have first to define the process according to the tissue and the tissue activities. Okay, because you have to enter in the you have to think that the art laboratory is a tissue laboratory. Is a tissue. So in order to implement, you have to first identify your process, your procedure. Probably we could organize a meeting together, no, that we can work together in order how to identify processing laboratory. Then you have to first to identify the math process, no, you show you, and then to create to develop the documented procedure. Yes, I understand what you say because there is a person they ask, please share any soft format for IVF. Yes, we can do, and it should be the aim of the international register. You understand that if we create this, if we extend, not create, extend this register, we can develop together SOP that can be implemented in the several organizations and should be divided into two parts. The first part is a common SOP that can be for Italian center, African center, India center, and then you can enter in detail in detail for each single nation. And I think this is should be very, very useful, because I think that is missing today. And we are the first in the world that we can do this activity. So for this reason, I suggest to join to this international register and then to expand this activity. Then we will provide information for India. We have the partnership with Professor Ved, and we extend to other countries. But it's important because otherwise the people think that the quality is only document, but the quality is not document. And I can tell you this, for me, if you have a quality system that you don't implement, it's better than don't have documents. Why? Because the document don't apply is worse than document doesn't have a document. So you don't have the document. If you have a document but you don't apply, it's better that you can eliminate your document, because it should be a broad culture. You can create a broad culture with the people, and you can create a disaster. I don't know if I explain myself, but it's important according to my experience.
Absolutely right.
Good.
I think it is good start, I think, and definitely it is required that the quality management system is required to get to improve yourself, your center success rate, and to get that that sometimes something happened. So how to trace these things? You should require that quality management system in your center.
Okay, so I will. I think that if you agree, we can close the session.
Yeah, we can. I
Thank
think.
you very much to everyone, to Ved. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
this opportunity, and think that it should be a very nice opportunity. Within Monday, the administrative office of my company will send you all information in order to complete the questionnaire, the test. And after this, you will receive the certification of this meeting. Okay, and I
Dr.
will share.
Vincenzo, please share that website address.
Yes, yes, I have. Sorry. Yes, Teresa, that the person in charge, will send an email, because I don't know how I can. We can with my website. Okay, the website. I write you. Sorry. But I will send you all information via mail. To all participants that they wanted to share, they will enter. There is the English version, and then they will enter in the reception area, and then we can find all information. Okay.
Got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Gracias.